TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Diamond, your State Farm Insurance agent in DeKalb. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Diamond and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Don't forget Kids Eat for Free on Thursday. For delivery or pickup, go to pizzavilla.com or call 815-758-8116. Elder Care Services of DeKalb. Safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay in home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org. My Insurance Guy in Sycamore covers Medicare to auto care and everything in between. Stop by at 204 South Main Street in Sycamore. Call 815-899-0950 or online at myinsuranceguy.com. And welcome into TD Ryan Unleashed podcast number 57. Very excited to have with us. Who is the DeKalb County Treasurer and what do they do? Well, I'll tell you what, the DeKalb County Treasurer's Office has the responsibility to receive, invest, and distribute the revenue and public monies of the county. The treasurer, as a collector, is responsible for dissemination of the consolidated real estate tax and mobile home local services tax bill, as well as the collection and distribution of real estate, drainage, I got to find out what that is, drainage and mobile home taxes for DeKalb County. The DeKalb County Treasurer's Office is led by elected treasurer and employed 3 full-time employees, 1 part-time employee, and operates on a budget of approximately $428,000. And the woman ahead of that right now is Becky Springer, our treasurer and collector. Becky, welcome to the Airways. Thanks for finding time for us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
How exciting to have you here because, again, I didn't realize this as I do more research. You know, when I was at the radio station, I would do these little 10, 15-minute interviews and just barely scratch the surface of the person I'm talking to. But I dove deep into you, and it's fascinating to find out what you've been through, Becky. Becky, of course, now is running again for the DeKalb County Treasurer position here in November, running against Derek Shaw. We'll talk to her about that in a little bit. But I want to go back to when you first got appointed the position. A great article in the Daily Chronicle back in January of 2021. Really big shoes to fill. DeKalb County's board appointee, Becky Springer, as county treasurer. So you came in to replace Christine Johnson, who had been reelected 7 times over the previous 25 years. What was that like stepping into those big shoes?
Those were some really big shoes to step into. However, given her tenure, her office was running very smoothly. And she also helped transition me into my role. So she would meet with me, talk with me over the phone. She would send me texts, friendly reminders, and things like that. So it actually was a much easier transition than I anticipated it being.
Okay, now do you know why, not to get her with Christine, why she stepped down when she did instead of waiting for the next cycle of elections? Or?
No, I'm not privy to that information.
So you got put in the position to take it for about a year, huh?
A year and a half.
A little
over a year and a half.
And you say in the article, I mean, there was a lot of things coming, a lot of moving parts coming at you at the same time. You were acting county treasurer. You go from February 5th, 2021 to November 30th, 2022, replacing Christine Johnson. I didn't realize that she had replaced Charlotte Sundley. I love hearing names from the past and what people did, what quote-unquote legends. She replaced her when, unfortunately, she passed away in a car accident there. But I know you from the Illinois Community Credit Union when I used to go there and used to there, and 20 years at the Illinois Community Credit Union.
I was there for 20 years.
So every financial aspect, I'm sure you covered while you were there.
Absolutely. I started out as a loan officer and ended up as the director of retail operations. So I oversaw all of the branches, the branch staff, as well as the call center.
So what better training ground than to work for the treasurer office, huh?
That's a perfect example of being able to walk into that role and know what I'm doing when it comes to the banking and investment side of the public monies.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what people want to see is that history that you have. But I also didn't know that you were also a Sycamore 3rd Ward Alderwoman for 2 years. And tell us, you were telling me off the air why you had to step down from that position.
So I ran for that position, won that, loved every minute of it. However, 2 years into my term, my husband and I found our dream home that was outside of city limits. So I did have to resign when we moved.
But your whole career, your life would have taken a completely different direction. Would you have stayed as an alderwoman and continue to do that?
Oh, absolutely. I loved every minute of that. I do love public service. I love the government. We're an integral part of making these communities grow and prosper.
Now, you mentioned you ran unopposed when you ran, but what was it like? You did have some politicking. You had to do some politicking. What was that like for you?
Absolutely. You have to, for any elected position, you have to distribute petitions to get your name onto the ballot in the first
that's right.
place.
You can't just say, I want to do this.
You can't just say that. You have to have people that are in your ward. So in the 3rd Ward, I did go around and knock on doors, and I had a few signs that I put in yards and such for that. So
You
that
got to
was
have pretty thick skin for that too.
you do, absolutely, absolutely. And one of my very first meetings was there was a controversial topic, and at the time, current mayor Steve Brazier was the other third ward alderman, and I voted opposite what he did. And after the vote was done, he looked at me and he said, "Good job, way to go." To stand up for what you believe in and what you feel, not just
Wow.
going with the flow.
Boy,
So
is that refreshing to hear that.
it was. It just really gave me the confidence to do what I was doing and to continue on.
Wow, what a great story. I didn't know that about Steve. That's wonderful. So you said you moved out of the ward in 2017. She believed her predecessor had been fabulous to work with. You mentioned that too, Christine Johnson. I interviewed her several times on the radio. Just a wonderful lady. But you mentioned the big shoes to fill. And then I shoot ahead here now to another DeKalb, another Daily Chronicle article. This one, August 12, 2025. DeKalb County Treasurer Becky Springer running for re-election. So why did you decide to run again, Becky?
I love what I do. I gave up a 20-year career for this, and I was wondering, did I make the right decision? And within 3 months, I knew I had absolutely made the right decision. I am making some big impacts for this county, and the things I do matter. I love being a public servant. I love meeting the people of DeKalb County, and being able to make their lives a little bit easier is my goal.
Yeah, you're quoted as saying that. I love that too. But so there was a time then you could have just done the year and a half and gotten out, gone back to your previous life, but you kind of gave all that up. So that was a bit of a gamble there, wasn't it, for you to do that?
It was a very big gamble, and my family and I, we thought and discussed really for a very long time. But now I'm in. I'm in.
But it's a hard job, Becky. Yeah, it's only as I got into this deeper and deeper, I realized what you guys do. For instance, I didn't know you guys, when you collect the money, you invest that money, right? And then you have money coming back, and then we have more money. Our tax dollars are growing while you guys have it.
Exactly. So I collect real estate tax dollars, and per state statute, I have to distribute that within 30 days of the first due date. So, for example, this year, the first due date is June 3rd. So I have to send out my first distribution by July 3rd.
Okay.
However, Christine Johnson started sending her first distribution the week before Memorial Day, and I've continued that. So we actually we'll be distributing in just a couple of weeks. And
how were you able to accelerate it like that?
She had that put into place.
Okay.
And
technology, I'm guessing, too, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So once you start distributions, you have to distribute the funds every 30 days from that point on. So from that the week before Memorial Day, then every 30 days after that, I have to send out these monies. While I have this money in my possession, I choose to invest it. And any interest that I earn is sent back out, distributed to the taxing bodies based on their proportion of the total tax collection.
Okay.
And so that is not something that I have to do by state statute or anything. That's just something that I choose to do.
So technically you could let it sit or at least collect interest, right? Or how does that work?
Right. Correct. So I could just let it sit. So my very first year, keep in mind, this was 2021. So this was
right
COVID.
After COVID.
Right after
yeah.
COVID, the interest rates were terrible. And I earned $6,585 in interest. And that money went back out to the taxing districts proportionately.
Now, when you say are you to the treasurer making these investments,
Correct.
or is there a committee or a whole?
I am making these investments as
Okay.
the treasurer. Correct. So in 2022, I decided I can do better. So I went from $6,500 to $184,000.
Wow, that's quite a jump.
Yes, I can do better. So in 23, it was $557,000 of interest. That is free money that's just going out to these taxing bodies that they did
so
not
they
expect
benefit.
that.
The taxing bodies get this extra money then.
Exactly.
Okay.
I eclipsed $612,000 in 2024, and in 2025, I sent out $538,000 in excess funds.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, I just started dabbling in investments myself. I'd put my money in a CD and just take, at least I know what the interest rate is. But the market was very volatile. Just 1 week, first couple of months we did it, we had lost like 13 grand, but then the following week, and it came back about 15 grand. So I understood that the market fluctuates, but obviously with Trump and the war and the stuff, things are going on that are unprecedented. But how did you invest? How can you invest? And are you really conservative when you're investing then, or how do you do that?
I feel that I am pretty conservative. State statute does dictate what we are allowed to invest in. So now I am not allowed to invest in the stock market.
Oh, okay.
I am not allowed to take it to the riverboat and put it all on red. I can't do that. So I do work with some local banks. I can do corporate bonds. I can do treasuries. and local government pools. And I keep most of our funds here at local banks in DeKalb County.
Oh, great.
Yes, and that's where I get a lot of my investments from is these local banks in town.
And do you stay with one, like one procedure you do, a certain, I'll invest in this, invest in that? Because it's obviously worked what you've been doing along the way.
Correct.
Here.
Yes. Because
Okay.
I brought my knowledge from my banking background into this role.
Oh, very
And
good.
that's really where I've been able to be successful.
We're talking to DeKalb County Treasurer Becky Springer about running for office again. Now, I'm easily confused. I still prefer cash myself, and I have a checkbook. I saw in my ARP magazine, I'm dating myself, that 7% of us still write checks. I'm one of the 7% that still like to write checks. But Springer, a former Third Ward alderman, also has overseen implementation of a new online payment platform and paperless billing, the new online payment platform. Now, this is where I get lost, Becky. Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, PayPal Credit, and Venmo. I thought Venmo already bit the dust. What is going on with these, and how can we accept these as payment? What does that work?
So those payment platforms, they operate just very similar to how debit and credit cards work. And
So this isn't cyber, what's the coins?
crypto?
No, it's not crypto.
No, not
Okay.
at all. Not
Okay.
at all. This is safe, guaranteed funds. Absolutely. So we had a payment provider that would charge us a dollar for a taxpayer to pay their taxes by e-check. And one year I got a notice that said that dollar is going to $2. And I had no input, no nothing. They just doubled the rate, and that just didn't sit well with me. So I went out for bid and sat down through 5 different other demos. And this company that we ended up with went back to the $1 fee for the e-checks. And
Okay.
they also offer all of these other ways to pay.
Now, what's the advantage for instance? Would I be better off using Apple Pay or PayPal? Is it for my records, or the reason why I'd want to do that? Or
There are a number of younger people
Yes.
that do not have a checking account or a savings account. They
Uh-huh.
operate all through PayPal or through Apple Pay or through Google Pay. So as this younger generation is starting to buy homes, that's how they're looking to pay. The one advantage to PayPal Credit, if you qualify, you have to qualify through them, but they offer 0% financing and you pay in 4 equal payments. So if you are struggling to
Wow,
pay
that's
your
great.
property taxes, you can pay with PayPal Credit, and then they'll charge you 0% interest for the 4 payments.
Is that right?
So yes, that could be something that could help some of the taxpayers here in DeKalb County.
Yeah, I work at Hayes Gym now, and it's $5 to play basketball there, and the kids will just drop in, and 90% of them are using their phone and the PayPal, and they do the little swipe, and so even at that young age, they're already paying stuff like that.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, so
yes.
what a great move for you to switch like that. The timely and accurate distribution of property taxes remain a focus for Springer, committed to improving the customer service and promoting government transparency. I like how you say that, too, because you say, our office isn't just numbers. I'm committed to make it easier for residents to manage their taxes and ensuring every dollar handled with care. But people are fed up with, when you get some automated thing on the phone, and it just really turns people off, doesn't it?
It does. And when you call my office, one of us answers the phone. I do not have an automated system that answers the phone.
Oh, so you won't do that. Okay.
No. And when you said that I have 3 employees and me, I've been answering phones all day today. I was answering phones all day yesterday. So there's a good chance you'll get me on the phone when you call in as well. I'm not above that. I'm here to work.
That's great.
I'm not here to sit behind a desk and dictate. I'm working in that office all day, every day.
We just interviewed John Finn from Pizza Villa and Chris Ramos from The Junction, and they're 2 owners that when something needs to be done, they just do it. Don't tell that other waiter to do it. You go and bring that dinner out, sit that people down. You have that same attitude. Something needs to be done, all hands on deck. Huh?
Absolutely. I'm not going to ask anybody to do something that I myself am not willing to do.
Now, tell us about, I didn't know the Treasurer's Office has 3 full-time employees and 1 part-time. Tell us about those employees, please.
So I have my chief deputy. Her main focus is...
And who's her? Let's give her name.
That's Stacy Canova.
Okay.
She's been with the office almost 7 years, and her main role is the generation of the tax bills, the collections, and the distributions of all of that. So that's almost a full year-long process for us and her.
So we're recording this on May 5th, and I understand the tax bills just came out on May 1st. Is that right?
Correct. I always shoot to mail out the tax bills May 1st of every year. So
Okay.
they hit mailboxes yesterday.
So that's
And
kind of her.
We had people coming in yesterday with their bills to pay.
Oh, I gotta love that.
She oversees all of that from the banking side, the bank reconciliations, and keeping track with the software systems and making sure that everything flows smoothly. She does a fabulous job for me.
So certain people at my generation, I'm 66, so I'll admit that, we like to pay things off right away. We want to find out how much it is, and we want to pay it off. And that's what they do, huh? They just come in and pay you off right away.
They do, and I had no idea how many people pay both installments immediately.
Uh-huh.
About 20% of our taxpayers pay both installments.
Is that right?
Yes. It's just one and done, and then they don't have to worry about it.
Now, I saw something about your automation. I don't have it right in front of me, but I think you said 597 taxpayers are now using the automated system, which I don't know based on how many people is that, but I think it's a fantastic number.
That was a paperless billing number.
Oh, the paperless billing.
Now we're up to 1,100 paperless bills. So that was something that I also launched. Mail costs, printing costs. We all know that that's going up. What can I do to help the county save money? And so I launched paperless billing. So we're up to 1,100 people now that are not receiving a papered bill, saving the postage and printing.
Yes.
Yeah. Anytime I can save $1, I'm going to do it.
I love it. I owe $4.18 to the Aurora Radiation Company. They sent me 3 letters. I wanted to send them back out. You've already spent more on postage than you have collected is $4.18. But I wrote them a check for $4.18. A check I wrote them, of course. We're talking to Becky Springer, DeKalb County Treasurer. Let's toot your own horn a little bit here. This is from your Becky Springer announces re-election bid for DeKalb County Treasurer. Let's go through your key accomplishments. As you said, $1,573,267 in interest on property taxes. That's all we're talking cumulative. What you were talking about, all those
Correct.
years.
And that did not include the last 25's years. So I'm up to almost 1.9 million in the 5 years.
Wow. 13 million again, over 13 million in interest earned in the DeKalb County funds through careful investments and responsible financial stewardship. Launch of paperless billing, now used by 970 taxpayers. That's what I was talking about. And then they were talking about the different payment methods. But you explain why you're doing that. I understand that now. Ensuring timely and accurate distribution of property taxes to schools, cities, and fire departments. Now, you mentioned that, but what happens if that's delayed or for some reason it takes longer than 30 days? Because obviously they're planning their budget on this money, right? So they need to know it's coming and when it's coming. So
exactly. So we list our distribution dates early, and they're already published. And so there is no delay. The funds will be there on those days. Will not happen.
All right. And then I hear promoting government transparency and fiscal responsibility in all aspects of her role. Now, I went on to the DeKalb County Treasurer website, and I was just overwhelmed by the amount of information. It seems like if there's something needs to be online, you're going to have it online, right? So that's fantastic.
There is quite a bit of information that you can find on our website. That is also another thing that Stacy takes care of for us. And she really likes to focus on the FAQs for all sorts of different
now tell us what that is. Can't use frequently asked questions.
Frequently asked questions.
Okay, yeah, because I always cheat and do that. Go to the frequently asked questions.
Exactly.
Well, that's great because you hear it over and over again. So why not cut out the middleman and give them the answers right away?
Exactly. We know what the questions are. We absolutely.
And what are things like at the office? Is it volatile? Do angry people come in and say I'm being overtaxed, and or what is it like there?
I fully expected that for my first year, and I was pleasantly surprised that very few people come in angry. They understand that it's not my office's fault or my fault. It's, that your tax bill is based on what your township assessor has your home assessed at, and then what each individual taxing body is levying for that year. I just take those two amounts, create the bill, and mail it out. So I actually have very little to do with that bottom number.
Okay.
And most people do understand that. So
all right.
That is good.
I often wonder what that was like for you here. Now, I wanted to mention that you're on your social media because, again, we're talking about you're a younger person, and we have a lot of younger people paying property taxes. Very important to me. And we're sorry about that delay. We were talking about taxes with Becky Springer, the treasurer, again, about older people and the distribution of the DeKalb County office invests and distributes more than $280 million in property taxes each year to 186 taxing districts. So there's 186 different taxing districts. Is that right?
There is.
Wow.
Yes. Not all of them levy every year, but a good majority of them do.
Okay. Now, we were talking about your 3 employees that you have. Is somebody in charge of social media, and how do you do that? Because I went to your website here, and I give some great, like here, a quick reminder that mobile home local service taxes are due today. A great way to get right to the people that you're looking for, right?
Absolutely. Social media is very important. My chief deputy, Stacy, also handles our social media. But it's really nice nowadays because you can schedule that. So during our slower times, we will schedule the due date reminders, and so it will post on the due date and such. So that's not anything that you have to do that day necessarily any longer.
Okay. And what's a drainage tax? That was in that beginning of my
A drainage district. So yes, if there are some locations where drainage is an issue, there's a drainage district that will um, levy for that, and
Now,
a
wait, let
lot
me
of that.
stop you here. Wait, a drainage district. So is that a committee? Is that
It's a
a
taxing district, yes, and they are elected commissioners.
and involving only things with drainage then?
Correct, correct. A lot of their money is spent on clearing, for example, beaver dams,
Okay.
and because then if there's a beaver dam in the way, the drainage does not
Sure,
occur and
sure.
it backs up. So yes, we have drainage districts here in DeKalb County.
So are we all paying a drainage tax, or is that a certain segment
Now,
of the
only if
population?
you live in that specific drainage district.
Okay, that's great though. And why the mobile homes? I always remember comedians saying that God doesn't like mobile homes when it comes to tornadoes and such. But why? What about the special taxes for instance, quick reminder: mobile home service taxes are due today. Is that different than a home?
It is. It is. So the mobile home parks are taxed real estate wise. However, the state also charges this mobile home privilege tax, and it's due once a year
No, what,
in
a
May.
mobile home privilege tax? What is
Yeah,
that?
that's just the state. That's what the state calls it.
Just so you can have a mobile home.
Right.
That's
Correct.
that. Okay.
Correct. So those bills are generally between $50 to $150, $180 a year, based on the year of the mobile home as well as the square footage.
Okay. Oh boy, you're a wealth of information, but you're supposed to be. That's good. But again, I love the way that you guys address things on social media. That's great. Now, like I said, I cheated here and I printed out the frequently asked questions, but you covered a lot of them already. But how to create an account and enroll in a paperless billing, and you're encouraging people to do that, obviously.
Absolutely, absolutely. Unfortunately, the mail service has not been as reliable in the past few years as it should have been. So I really do encourage the online paperless billing.
I just missed a credit card payment because my credit card bill didn't come, and I didn't realize that. And that's and then they try to convince me to do the paperless, but of course I stuck to my guns, and I'm still getting it through the mail. Real estate taxing and billing. You mentioned that, how real estate and mobile home taxes work. Get to know your real estate bill. Now this I like because you're trying to be friendly to the people and make it just taxes and real estate. Tell us about this. Get to know your real estate tax bill. You kind of break it down for people, don't you?
Absolutely, because there is a lot of information on that bill.
Yes.
If you look on the front, it's a ton of information. If you look on the back, even more so. So it's just nice to break it down section by section to help explain what is in the bill and how to make your payments, what you need to know. A lot of times the state also mandates what we put on our tax bills. So a lot of that information on the back
Has to be.
has to be.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Delinquent tax sales information. So if you're late, am I mad? There's an automatic penalty? Is that how that works? Or can you
Correct,
get an
yes.
extension like with your taxes? Or doesn't?
No extensions.
That's what I like. Senior Citizen Real Estate Tax Deferral Payment Program. Now, I heard all about this, but I actually read up on it. And it's really a neat deal where people that of a certain age can,
If you're over 65,
over 65, you can
Correct.
defer, 6 months your payment for?
you can defer up to $7,500 of your property taxes every year through the state. So that's a program through the Illinois Department of Revenue. And what you can do, that application is due by March 1st of every year.
Okay.
So you come in and you apply and you tell how much of your property taxes you would like the state to pay for you. It's a 3% interest. So it's a
3%? Okay.
It's a loan. It's a lien that goes on the property, but then your property taxes are paid for by the Illinois Department of Revenue. Once you sell the house or once they pass, then that money becomes owed at that point in time.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
very
So
good.
you have to have a minimum. You have to earn under $65,000 a year to qualify for this program. It really is a great program to help keep seniors in their homes,
Right.
especially those that have lost some income or if they've lost their spouse and are now down to a single income. Their house is paid off, but they can't afford the real estate taxes now. So
Right.
that is something that my office pushes through with the Illinois Department of Revenue.
Yeah, we work with our friends at Elder Care Service. Actually, they're a sponsor of the show. But again, their goal is to keep people in their homes. I mean, you work so hard to get this home. I was telling somebody the other day about my parents burning their 40-year mortgage. They had a 17% interest rate back then, but they paid it for 40 years, had a party, and burned the mortgage, but you just don't see it anymore. Yeah,
No, you don't see that anymore.
Now, you have an opponent here that's coming up here in the election here in November,
Mhm.
Derek Shaw. I'm just starting to learn more about Derek. Do you know anything about Derek? And what are your thoughts about having an opponent?
No, I don't. I've not met him yet. I'd love to.
Okay.
But no, I have not met him.
Now, I asked people that are running for county board, and I guess same thing would hold true with the Treasury Department. It's DeKalb. You're a Republican. Derek is running for the Democratic side. Should that be a Democratic or Republican position, Becky, or what are your thoughts about that?
This position, the treasurer position specifically, there is nothing that I would do differently if I was a Democrat or a Republican. We are so tied down by state statute that this is one of those positions where it should be more about the person than the party.
Okay. Very good. I get it, because it seems like it's all pretty much regulated. And I just printed out one to give people an idea how easy it is to go to your Treasury Department and find out what you need to know. This is real estate tax billing and payment frequently asked questions. And you break it all down. When is the tax bill mailed? Why haven't I received my tax bill? What if I received my tax bill? Is not my responsibility to pay? Can I pay both of those statements at once? I mean, it's all broken down. You really like you said, you thought of every question that somebody could answer and cover it, don't you?
Correct. We get several phone calls a year, and that's how we develop our FAQs there on the website from what people are asking.
Okay. And if things going well in the last couple of years, has it gotten better or worse in terms of a?
Absolutely gotten. It's becoming much easier to make the payments and the processes that we have instituted. Absolutely, it is so much easier. And switching this to this new online payment platform has definitely helped. Our software system that we use for property tax assessment, tax extension, and collection is a national company. It's called DevNet, and they're headquartered here in Sycamore, Illinois.
Is that right?
It is.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, that is a nice kismet.
So it's great to have a nice, yes. So they are right here in our backyard. So if we have any questions, problems, what have you, they're right here.
I love it. So we're talking to Becky Springer again, running for treasurer again here in DeKalb County. And, Ben, Becky, we've known you just on the surface level, but talk about you. Now, you grew up in Sycamore, right? Tell us about life in Sycamore growing up. Was there more in Sycamore for you?
There was more in Sycamore, yes. So I grew up in Sycamore, born and raised, and I decided I wanted to be an accountant. And
at that age, really? Were you a math whiz then?
Yes, actually, I was, yes. So I got accepted to a few different schools, and I ended up choosing NIU because of their great accounting program.
Can I ask where else you might have gone? What other schools might you have gone?
I was looking at Augustana and
that's
U
a
of
great
I.
school. Okay.
Yeah, so I got into all three of those and ended up choosing NIU for their accounting program. And this is fun because my parents did not want me to go to NIU. They wanted me to go away to school. So when I said I want to go to
Usually
NIU,
it's the other way around, isn't it? Boy, that's
right,
funny.
exactly. They said, no, we want you to go away. So they paid for me to live in the dorms and took away my car. So I lived in the towers at NIU as a freshman. I did. So I went away to school.
Now, when I went to UW Whitewater, it was required to live on campus the first 2 years. And I thought that was great. I'm really glad that that's the way it was. Are you happy that you lived in the dorms?
I am absolutely happy that I was able to experience that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I really think it's part of the educational process. That's wonderful. So speaking of education, I see you're currently serving, this is an older article, on the Sycamore Education Foundation. Are you still on the Sycamore Education Foundation?
I still am on the Sycamore Education Foundation. That is an amazing nonprofit that helps support grants for teachers in our school district in Sycamore. And when you join that board, you join for a 4-year term, and you're capped at 2 terms.
Okay.
And then you're done. And this will be my 8th year, and it will end in June. So I will be coming off of the Sycamore Education Foundation in June.
Do you like the term limits there? It makes sense to some degree.
It makes sense. Yes, I've been there and done that. And we need some new ideas, some new blood, all sorts. So I am fully on board for that capping that term.
Now, you worked at Farm and Fleet for a while. Can you tell us about that? That was just raising money for school? And you met your husband there.
That was during college. I worked at Farm and Fleet, and his sister was one of my best friends. And so she's like, my brother's coming out. You need to come out, meet him. You have to stay for at least one drink, but then you can go home because he's a big dork.
But you liked the big dork.
Apparently I did. Yes.
And what was life like at Farm and Fleet? I always thought that was such a neat store. I could just spend hours in Farm and Fleet.
I still do spend hours in Farm and Fleet. Yes. It was just you get to know people, a customer service standpoint and such. And, who doesn't want to come home smelling like tires every day from work?
I know. I like the smell of tires, too. So you got the degree from NIU in economics there, too. And then we mentioned 20 years with the credit union. But let's talk about your offspring here. Now, how old is this article? It says one is a junior in college, the other a junior in high school. Does that apply still, or is that how old this article is?
It's a little little bit older. I have 2 kids. My daughter Maddie is 24, and my
Okay.
son Andrew is 21.
And what's Maddie doing? What?
So Maddie is experiencing some health issues, so
Oh,
we're getting that fixed right now and working on treatment for her,
all
and
right.
then
We'll keep her
looking
in our
forward to
prayers.
that.
Okay.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. And Drew wanted to be a welder, so he went to the Hobart Institute of Welding Technology in Ohio.
Get out of here.
And
There's a welding technology school? There should be.
yes,
That's
yes,
great. I didn't know
absolutely.
that.
There's several trade schools, and that's the one he chose. So he's back here in town, and he's welding here in Sycamore.
What a practical thing to do. They're talking about something, when about 10, 15 years ago, everybody should go to college, everybody should get that. But we're realizing the practicality of not putting yourself in debt in the 4 years of college and going to a trade school like that and getting right to work.
Exactly. Sycamore High School has done an amazing job with partnering with Kishwaukee Education Consortium. So my son Drew, he actually got 2 years of welding while in high school.
Really?
Yes, through KEC, and he was earning college credits for that before he went on to the trade school. So Sycamore set him up for success in the trades.
Yeah, I know they had that trade school fair, and it was overly attended. So many kids went there. It's
Absolutely.
great to see that when you get something working like that, too. And then we mentioned the 2 children there. That's again, so I write myself notes and I can't read them. Late the county, I know what that was. But finally, I want to mention about the fact that this is an article again from Facebook. Becky Springer for DeKalb County Treasurer. I spent my Friday with State's Attorney Riley Oken talking to law and government to Sycamore Middle School students. What an amazing day. What was that day like? What a great thing. Difficult because kids are a tough audience. I know that for a fact. But what was that like to talk to them about government and stuff?
That was so fun. So the 8th grade middle school. So
8th grade, okay.
8th grade. And they had to choose different sections to see. So we gave our presentation 5 different times that day to 5 different classes. And it was just so easy. Riley and I have been friends for a number of years. So it was easy to explain what we do for the county, what we do for the taxpayers and all of that. The kids were really good.
Were they getting it, do you think? Or at least some of them getting it?
Oh, absolutely.
Because
some
that
of
would,
them
that
were
would just
getting it.
glaze
Yes.
over if you were going to talk to
Some
me
of
about-
them were, yes.
Okay.
Yes. We tried to keep it at their level.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I used the word levy for an 8th grade.
But they were
career day.
probably intrigued by the process because they hear the word taxes all the time, but they probably never put the whole process together. Like that.
Correct. Yes, exactly. They don't understand where their property tax or their parents' property taxes are going. And so, yes, that funds the school district, funds the townships, it funds the county, the forest preserve, the school, the libraries, the park, all
Yeah.
of that. So they were able to learn that, and hopefully that made some sense to them.
And in your slower time, are you able to get out and to the kids? And do you have like an outreach program for the young people to learn? Again, that's ambitious. And again, people say, well, don't be spending my tax money on that. But it'd be great that young people know what's going on with their taxes.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not able to really get out very much and speak with the kids. I do like to get out to the community and do that. I do speak annually for the DeKalb Chambership.
You're talking like me now.
Chamber Leadership Academy.
Okay.
And so one of their days is focused on government. So I start with property taxes first thing at 8:30 in the morning, like, yay. And then they bring in typically the city of DeKalb to talk about their process and how they levy and budget. And then they bring in the school district. So it's a whole day on just the entire property tax system and cycles
Okay.
for them. So I really enjoy that component.
I like that. So before we let you go, what is the, because I mentioned to you, I had several misinterpretations about our taxing system and what a treasurer does. And is there a common misconception that people have about the Treasury Department and what goes on in DeKalb County and how our tax money is being spent?
I think the biggest misconception is that I'm the one that decides how much your bill is. And that is absolutely not true.
Not true.
Not true. Not true.
Like you said, it's all state statutes. It's all
Exactly. Exactly. So the what has really been interesting is the growth from the south side of DeKalb and the impact that that's having on the city of DeKalb, the school district, as well as the county. So we have a great county board, and our county board, because of all of that growth, has basically kept taxpayers, the dollars you're sending to the county's portion,
Mhm.
the same or lower for the last 4 years.
Now, I wasn't going to mention this, but I have been interviewing the candidates for DeKalb County the last couple of days, county board. When it comes to DeKalb County Rehab and Nursing Center, obviously got the new addition on there, and but it was operating at a loss for a long time. And from just the dollars and cents, That couldn't continue to go on operating at a loss like that.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
That was way too much of a loss at the
And
time.
the size of the loss. Okay, yeah.
Yes, correct.
So things have gone board. There's an oversight board now, so it's keeping an eye on
Oh,
the.
absolutely. They are definitely headed in the right direction again, and they are doing a phenomenal job over there, especially with the new temporary care unit that's been opened and such too. So they are doing a great job in turning things around.
Well, it's funny when I looked at the numbers of the whole thing when I was at the radio station. I'm like, well, geez, this is a no-brainer. It's all this private company, whatever. But then we went and did the grand opening of the rehab center, and to meet the people that live there and the people that work there. We're so passionate about that place that there was no doubt that we should keep it in DeKalb County and keep it under our control.
That was a very fun event.
It really was.
It really was. I definitely enjoyed that, and you are correct. The employees there care, and that's why they're there.
Yeah.
They're there because they care. And
We just had Rhonda Hankey here who's running for a county board seat, and she was a nurse there. She was an overnight nurse there.
absolutely. So yeah, Rhonda is my county board rep.
Okay.
One of two for where I live. So yes.
See, that's what's neat about doing the show is I learned, I never would have known you were an alderwoman. I never knew you were an alderwoman. And the fact that you might have kept doing that if you hadn't found the dream house. So.
Absolutely.
So it must have been fate that you found the dream house and then now the dream job for you as well.
Absolutely.
So as we let you go with, my wife's big on the elevator speech. What is your elevator speech? You are running against another opponent here for the DeKalb County Treasurer. What's your little elevator speech you give somebody?
So my focus is on the investment side. So I talked about how much of the investment interest I made for the taxing bodies. But the county itself, we have a little over $100 million in our portfolio. I also invest that for county funds. So last year I earned $113 shy of $5 million in interest for the county. My philosophy is every dollar of interest that I earn is $1 less that the county has to tax its taxpayers. So last year was 4.9, the year before 5 million. This is per year.
Yeah.
So that to me is saving the taxpayers.
And again, that's tacked on, right? That's added on. So
Absolutely. So that's just
all these taxing bodies are benefiting highly.
No, this is the county's.
Oh, it's just counties. Okay.
This is our rehab account.
Okay.
This is our general fund. This is the county's highway and motor fuel funds, public health department. This is county money.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with the property taxes. So this is completely separate.
All right.
So last year was $5 million. The last 2 years, $5 million each year into the county coffers. So we do not have to tax our taxpayers.
Wow.
That $5 million. That's huge.
I was going to say that's enough elevator speech right there, right? Because
Correct.
we're all about the bottom line, and especially when it comes to the Treasury Department, that's what we want to hear, right? So.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for getting. We didn't know what I was going to ask you or anything, and thank you for making time for us today. And maybe before we hit November, you could have you and your opponent here and maybe do a little debate. Would you be up for doing that?
Oh, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Becky Springer, again, I feel like you're an old friend. Well, you are an old friend of mine, but again, congratulations on your trajectory and what you've taken. It's so fascinating to read about how you've gotten to where you're at and how difficult your job is. So we thank you for what you do for the county and keep up the great work. Good luck in the election, and we hope to have you back for a little debate with Mr. Shaw.
Perfect. Thank you.
And that's TD Ryan Unleashed, podcast number 57.